I stared at the pill bottle in my trembling hand, watching the tiny white tablets scatter across my bathroom counter. My heart pounded so hard I could hear it in my ears. These weren't my blood pressure pills. The shape was wrong. The size was wrong. Everything was wrong. For 3 months, I'd been getting sicker. At first, it was just dizziness. Then the headaches started. Then my heart would race for no reason, pounding in my chest like it was trying to escape. I'd wake up at 3 a.m., drenched in sweat, my pulse hammering at 140 beats per minute. My doctor, Dr. Sarah Chen, ran every test imaginable: blood work, EKG, echocardiogram, thyroid panel. Everything came back normal. "Mrs. Patterson," she'd say, her brow furrowed with genuine concern, "your heart is actually quite healthy for a 64-year-old woman. I don't understand what's causing these episodes." But I was getting worse. Last week, I'd collapsed in the grocery store. The paramedics found my heart rate at 165. They rushed me to the ER, pumped me full of medications to slow it down, and sent me home with instructions to follow up with a cardiologist. The cardiologist found nothing wrong. "Maybe it's anxiety," my daughter-in-law Jessica suggested, her voice dripping with false concern. "You know, Mom, women your age often experience panic attacks. Have you considered seeing a therapist?" I lived with my son Marcus and Jessica in the house my late husband Tom and I had bought 30 years ago. After Tom died 2 years ago, I'd been lonely in this big 4-bedroom home. When Marcus and Jessica's apartment lease ended, I'd suggested they move in. "Save some money," I'd said. "We can help each other out." It had seemed like a good idea at the time. Jessica was always so helpful. Too helpful, maybe. She insisted on organizing my medications each week, filling my daily pill organizer with my blood pressure medication, my cholesterol pill, my vitamin D. "You have so much to keep track of, Mom," she'd say with that bright smile. "Let me take care of this for you." She made my coffee every morning. She prepared my lunch when Marcus was at work. She was attentive, caring, the perfect daughter-in-law. Everyone said so. But something had been nagging at me, a feeling I couldn't quite name. The way Jessica's eyes would linger on me when she thought I wasn't looking. The way she'd volunteer to help before I even asked. The way she'd started talking about renovations. "Once we have the house to ourselves," she'd said one day, then caught herself. "I mean, someday in the future. Not that we're rushing anything." That comment had stuck with me like a splinter under my skin. So 3 days ago, I'd done something I'm not proud of. I'd pretended to take my evening medications in front of Jessica, but I'd palmed them instead. Later, alone in my bathroom, I'd examined them carefully. The blood pressure pill looked right. The cholesterol pill looked right. But there was a third pill I didn't recognize. Small, round, white, with no markings. I'd never seen it before. I'd done the same thing for 3 days. Each day, there it was, that mysterious white pill. This morning, I'd pulled out my actual prescription bottle of blood pressure medication from my bathroom cabinet, the one I kept as a backup. I compared the pills. They were identical to what Jessica had been giving me. But that third white pill shouldn't be there. My hands shook as I pulled out my phone and took pictures. Then I carefully placed one of the mystery pills in a small plastic bag. I needed to know what it was. My friend Dorothy had a son who was a pharmacist. I called her. "Dorothy, I need a favor. Can you ask Michael to identify a pill for me? I don't want to explain right now, but it's important." "Of course, honey. Is everything okay?" "I don't know yet." 2 hours later, my phone rang. It was Dorothy, and her voice was tight with concern. "Margaret, Michael says that pill is propranolol. It's a beta blocker. He wants to know why you have it. He says if you're taking it with your regular blood pressure medication without a doctor's supervision, it could be very dangerous." My blood turned to ice. What would happen? "He says it could cause your heart rate to become irregular. Dangerously low blood pressure, dizziness, fainting. If you took it regularly, it could cause serious problems." "Margaret, what's going on?" I couldn't speak for a moment. My mind was racing, trying to make sense of it. Jessica had been adding extra blood pressure medication to my daily pills. Medication that, combined with what I was already taking, was making me sick. She was poisoning me. Not with arsenic or something exotic, with my own medication. Double dosing me with blood pressure pills, making my heart slow down, making me dizzy and weak and sick. making me look like I was deteriorating from natural causes. "I have to go," I whispered to Dorothy. "I'll explain later." "Thank you." Thank Michael for me. I sat on my bed, my mind spinning. Why would Jessica do this? We'd always gotten along. I'd welcomed her into my home, into my family. I'd helped them financially when they needed it. I'd babysat their daughter Emma on weekends. I'd been nothing but kind to her. Then I remembered the conversation I'd overheard last month. I'd come home early from my book club, and Jessica and Marcus were in the kitchen. I'd been about to announce myself when I heard Jessica's voice, sharp and frustrated. "Your mother is going to live another 20 years, Marcus. We can't keep waiting. I want to renovate this place, turn it into something modern. But she won't even let us paint the living room because it's the color your father chose. Jessica, please. This is her house." "Is it? Or is it going to be our house? The house you'll inherit?" Because I'm not spending the next 2 decades living in a 1980s time capsule, waiting for her to decide to move to a retirement home. I'd backed out quietly, my heart breaking. That night, I'd lain awake, wondering if I'd made a mistake moving them in. But I'd pushed the thought away. They were young, frustrated. Everyone says things they don't mean. But now, holding this plastic bag with the mystery pill, I realized Jessica had meant every word. She wasn't trying to kill me. That would be too obvious, too risky. She was trying to make me sick. Sick enough that I'd need to move to assisted living. Sick enough that Marcus would suggest it's time for me to get the care I need. Sick enough to speed things up. My phone buzzed. A text from Marcus. "Mom, I'm working late tonight. Jessica is making dinner. See you around 9. I stared at the message. Jessica was making dinner. Another opportunity to medicate me, to make me sicker. Not tonight. I needed proof. Real proof. Because if I accused her without evidence, I'd look like the crazy old woman she was trying to make me appear to be. I'd look paranoid, delusional. Marcus would never believe me. I needed to catch her in the act. I went to my laptop and ordered a small hidden camera from Amazon. Priority shipping, delivery tomorrow. The product description said it looked like a decorative photo frame, perfect for a bathroom counter. That night, I told Jessica I wasn't feeling well and would just have some soup in my room. She brought it up with my evening medications. I watched her arrange the pills on the tray, her movements practiced and casual. "Here you go, Mom. Your blood pressure pill, your cholesterol pill, and your vitamin." She smiled at me, that warm, caring smile. I smiled back. "Thank you, sweetheart." As soon as she left, I flushed the pills down the toilet. The next day, the camera arrived. I set it up in my bathroom, angled perfectly at my medication organizer on the counter. The camera fed to an app on my phone. I could watch in real time or review footage later. I waited. Sunday morning, Jessica knocked on my bathroom door. "Mom, I'm refilling your pills for the week. Do you need anything from the pharmacy?" "No, dear. I'm all set." I was in my bedroom with my door cracked open, watching the camera feed on my phone. I watched Jessica enter my bathroom. She pulled out my prescription bottles from the medicine cabinet. She opened my weekly pill organizer. Then she reached into her pocket and pulled out a small bottle I'd never seen before. She opened it, and one by one, she added extra pills to each day's compartment. White pills, the same mystery pills I'd found. My heart was pounding, but I forced myself to stay quiet, to keep recording. She worked methodically, adding one pill to each day. Then she put the mystery bottle back in her pocket, closed my pill organizer, and arranged everything neatly. Before she left, she paused and looked around my bathroom. Her eyes lingered on my photo frames, my decorations. I saw something in her expression then. Not guilt, not remorse, satisfaction. She left, closing the door softly behind her. I had it. Clear video footage of Jessica adding unauthorized medication to my pills. My hands were shaking so badly I could barely hold my phone. I saved the video to my cloud storage, emailed it to myself, texted it to Dorothy. I wasn't taking any chances of losing this evidence. But what now? Call the police? Confront Jessica? Tell Marcus? I called Dr. Chen's emergency line. When she called back, I explained everything. The mystery pills, the video, the identification from the pharmacist. "Mrs. Patterson." Her voice was grave. "This is very serious. That combination of medications could have caused a stroke or heart failure. You need to file a police report immediately, and I need to see you first thing tomorrow to check your heart. But my son, this will destroy him. Margaret, this woman has been systematically poisoning you. This isn't a family matter. This is a crime. She was right. I knew she was right. I called the police, non-emergency line. I explained the situation calmly, rationally. I told them I had video evidence and could identify the pills. 2 officers arrived within an hour. I showed them everything. The video footage, the pills I'd saved, my medical records showing the unexplained cardiac episodes. They took it all very seriously. Ma'am, we'll need to take this evidence and interview the suspect. Are you safe here tonight? My son will be home soon. I'll be fine until then. After they left, I sat in my bedroom, waiting. My heart was pounding, and this time it wasn't from medication. It was fear. Fear of what would happen when Marcus found out. Fear of losing my son. Marcus came home at 6, Jessica right behind him from her shift at the dental office. I heard them talking in the kitchen, heard Jessica laugh at something he said. 20 minutes later, the doorbell rang. I'll get it, I called out, heading downstairs. The police officers were back, and their expressions were serious. Mrs. Patterson, we have a warrant to search the premises and to bring Jessica Patterson in for questioning. I stepped aside and let them in. Marcus appeared in the hallway, confusion on his face. Mom, what's going on? Jessica came out of the kitchen, and when she saw the police, her face went white. Jessica Patterson? One officer said. Yes? We have a warrant to search your belongings, and we need you to come with us to answer some questions regarding the poisoning of Margaret Patterson. What? Marcus looked between me and Jessica. Poisoning? Mom, what is this? Jessica's face crumpled. I don't know what she's talking about. Marcus, your mother has been confused lately, you know that. The doctors can't find anything wrong. Maybe it's dementia. Stop! My voice came out stronger than I expected. Marcus, she's been putting extra blood pressure medication in my pills, making me sick. I have video evidence of her doing it. I pulled out my phone and played the video for him. We all watched in silence as Jessica added pills to my organizer, her movements methodical and deliberate. The color drained from Marcus's face. Jessica, what? Why? I can explain, Jessica said quickly, desperately. Marcus, you don't understand. I was just trying to help. Your mother needed to see that she needed more care. She needed to consider assisted living. By poisoning her? Marcus's voice cracked. The officers stepped forward. Ma'am, you need to come with us. As they led Jessica out in handcuffs, she turned back to Marcus. I did this for us, for our future. She's going to leave you this house anyway. I was just speeding things up. We deserve to live our lives, not be stuck taking care of her. The door closed, and Marcus and I stood in the hallway in terrible silence. Finally, he spoke, his voice broken. Mom, I didn't know. I swear to God I had no idea. I know. Sweetheart. How long has she been doing this? I think about 3 months. That's when the symptoms started. He sank onto the stairs, his head in his hands. I suggested assisted living. Last week, I actually suggested it to you. I thought you were getting too sick to live alone, and I felt guilty for not being able to care for you properly. She made me think. His voice broke. She made me think you were dying. I sat beside him and took his hand. You didn't know. I should have known. I'm your son. I should have protected you. You couldn't have known. She was very careful. We sat there for a long time, processing everything that had shattered in those few minutes. The next few weeks were a blur of police interviews, medical appointments, and lawyers. Dr. Chen confirmed that the double dose of beta blockers could have caused everything I'd experienced, and that continued exposure could have led to a fatal cardiac event. Jessica was charged with attempted murder, but her lawyer argued it down to aggravated assault and elder abuse. The prosecution presented my video evidence, testimony from Dr. Chen, analysis of the pills, and my medical records showing the correlation between the start of my symptoms and when Jessica began helping with my medications. Marcus filed for divorce immediately. He was devastated, broken by the betrayal. His wife, the mother of his child, had tried to kill his mother for a house, for renovations, for convenience. During the trial, more came out. Jessica had been researching symptoms of beta blocker overdose. She'd been reading articles about when families should consider nursing homes for elderly relatives. She'd even contacted several facilities for information, building a paper trail to show Marcus that his mother needed professional care. She'd planned everything carefully. She'd thought of everything except the possibility that I might catch on, might fight back, might refuse to be a victim. The jury deliberated for less than 4 hours, guilty on all counts. The judge gave her 8 years in prison, not the 20 I'd hoped for, but justice nonetheless. Marcus and I both attended the sentencing. Jessica's lawyer made a final plea for leniency, painting her as a frustrated daughter-in-law who'd made terrible choices but never intended real harm. The judge wasn't buying it. "Mrs. Patterson, you systematically poisoned a vulnerable elderly woman in her own home, a woman who had welcomed you into her family. You manipulated medications in a way that could have killed her. You showed premeditation, planning, and a shocking lack of remorse. 8 years is the sentence, and I hope you use that time to reflect on what you've done." As they led her away, Jessica looked at me one last time, not with hatred, but with something worse. Incomprehension. She still didn't understand why she was being punished for what she saw as simply being practical. After the trial, Marcus moved out of my house. "I need some time," he said. "I need to figure out who I am after all this." "But Mom, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry I didn't see it, didn't protect you." "You did protect me," I told him. "You raised an alarm when I collapsed. You took me to the hospital. You were there, sweetheart. You just didn't know where the danger was coming from." He's rebuilding his life now, sharing custody of Emma, going to therapy to process the betrayal and the guilt. We have dinner every Wednesday, and slowly, painfully, we're healing. As for me, I'm healthier than I've been in months. My heart rate is normal. My blood pressure is stable. Dr. Chen jokingly calls me her miracle patient because all my symptoms vanished once I stopped taking Jessica's extra medication. I still live in my house, the house Tom and I bought, the house we raised Marcus in. I've painted the living room a new color now, not because Jessica wanted me to, but because I wanted to. I'm reclaiming this space, making it mine again. I've also become something of an advocate. I speak at senior centers about elder abuse, about trusting your instincts, about the importance of managing your own medications when possible. I tell my story to anyone who will listen, because Jessica isn't unique. Elder abuse happens every day, often at the hands of family members, often in ways that look like caregiving. Trust your instincts, I tell people. If something feels wrong, investigate. Don't let anyone convince you that you're paranoid or confused. You know your own body. You know when something isn't right. I show them the video of Jessica adding pills to my organizer. I show them my medical records, the dramatic improvement once the poisoning stopped. I make it real for them. Several elderly people have come to me afterward with their own suspicions, their own concerns. I've helped 3 people document medication tampering by family members or caregivers. All 3 cases are now being investigated. Dorothy jokes that I've become a detective in my retirement. Maybe I have. But really, I've just become someone who refuses to be a victim, someone who trusts herself, someone who fights back. I'm 64 years old. According to Jessica's plan, I should be in assisted living by now, or maybe even dead from a convenient heart condition. Instead, I'm healthier, stronger, and more determined than ever. Last week, Marcus brought Emma to visit. We made cookies together, and as I watched my granddaughter's face light up over chocolate chips, I thought about how close I came to missing this. How close Jessica came to stealing all these moments from me. "Grandma," Emma said, "Daddy says you're very brave." "I am," I told her. "And someday, you will be too. Remember, Emma, if something feels wrong, it probably is. Trust yourself. Always trust yourself." She nodded seriously. This wise little 7-year-old who's had to learn too much too young about the darkness that can hide in families. After they left, I stood in my newly painted living room, in my house, in my life that I fought to keep. The sunset was streaming through the windows, painting everything gold. I thought about Jessica in her prison cell, serving her 8 years. I thought about Marcus, rebuilding his life one day at a time. I thought about all the people who've heard my story and checked their own medications, trusted their own instincts, possibly saved their own lives. And I thought about me, Margaret Patterson, the woman who refused to die quietly, who caught her would-be killer on camera, who stood up in court and told the truth even when it broke her family apart. I survived. And I'm going to keep surviving, living my life on my terms, in my home, for as long as I choose. Jessica thought she could speed things up, could hurry me out of my own life, but she was wrong. I'm not going anywhere. Not now. Not ever. Not until I'm good and ready. And that's going to be a very, very long time.